What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, CamATL, and welcome back to another NFL video with your boy. Drop a like down below because I already know you're going to love it. Subscribe to the channel, comment anything in the comment section, enter your name into that $100 giveaway I do every week on this channel. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Thursday Night Showdown was a dub last night. Once again, man, the game. Like, we just can't catch a break on the Thursday night games, to be honest. Like, they're just boring as hell. I mean, this just is what it is. But that's all good, man. I mean, as long as we get the W, we get the W, and that's all that matters. You know what I mean? So, moving on to this main slate for Sunday. I have an amazing grasp on how this is going to go here. I'm excited about it. The only negative about this slate is we have some heavy chalk spots, and it is going to be a struggle to get different. That's the key here is plug in the guys that are obvious. Don't try to get too cute with it. Plug in the guys who are obvious, and then get different elsewhere. All right. So with this slate, let's go ahead and start off with quarterback. At the quarterback position, going for this full slate breakdown. As you guys know, early in the week we do the first look lineup where we pretty much just talk about the guys in the lineup. We build the lineup together, blah blah blah. And then in this video, we're gonna go position by position and talk about a core group of guys per position that are in play for me. You know, there's gonna be guys I don't talk about. That's because I'm not playing any of them. You know what I mean? So, and I don't recommend you do either. You know, unless you're playing 150 lineups, you can get a sprinkle of everyone. You know what I mean? But most people who watch me and most of them play like a limited amount of lineups and don't go too crazy with 150. Nothing, But anyway, let's get into it. So I have the quarterback position sorted by point per dollar. Let's go ahead and start at the top. Geno Smith. Geno has been fantastic, and this matchup against Arizona is once again a beautiful one. It's in Seattle. It's a solid spot here for Geno. Once again, he's only 5'7". They should have lifted his price over 6K for sure. Geno Smith is a fantastic option this week. Once again, I like Metcalf. Once again, I like Lockett. So it's another one of those weeks where I'm telling y'all, Geno Smith paired up with, Metcalf or Lockett or whatever is a solid spot. The only down spot I see with Geno Smith when it comes to my builds is it doesn't feel correlated very well because I love Kenneth Walker. Um, I love Walker in the spot as well. So playing Geno, his pass catchers, and Kenneth Walker kind of is not correlating very well when it comes to upside potential. If Kenneth Walker has a huge game, most likely Geno's kind of mid range, if not low range, as well as his wide receivers. Um, Vice versa. If the wide receiver group goes crazy, Kenneth Walker maybe not. The best outcome is Geno Smith gets up pretty good through the air, maybe throws one to Kenneth Walker as well, and then a lot of Kenneth Walker's second half just running the ball. But we'll talk about Walker in a minute. That's one of the negatives about Geno is Walker is such an amazing value at the running back spot as well, and we're gonna get to it. But that's the only downside I can see about Geno is that the correlation point of it. Now, if you play Geno, you probably fade Kenneth Walker. I mean, I know it sounds crazy because we got some. I mean, the spot is amazing. And that's mostly why, when it comes to the lineups I've built so far, I built a good bit throughout the week, and I kind of I limit it down Sunday morning, and then I pick my favorite out of the bunch. But um, I have some with Geno, and the ones I have with Geno, I don't have Kenneth Walker. Um, I have lines with Kenneth Walker, and majority of them don't have Geno. You know what I mean? So you gotta kind of make that decision how you expect this game to go, and then make your decision from there. I like the price on Geno though. His weapons are amazing. He's been fantastic this season. Super happy to see him showing out like this. Love to see it. Marcus Mariota. Now, I get it. The matchup against San Francisco's dreadful. Okay, this matchup's horrible. I mean, yeah, Atlanta's at home. That's the plus side here. Atlanta is at home. Marcus Mariota's only 5'3". He has a rushing. He gives you solid points as a floor with his rushing ability. And Atlanta is going to be playing from behind this entire game. So, with all those factors involved, Marcus Mariota is going to have to throw a good bit. Um, yes, the matchup's not great, but the game script's going to be extremely pass heavy, and this offense is going to have to move quick because they're going to have to catch up. So I really like this Marcus Mariota as a GPP option, pairing him with maybe London and Zacchaeus even. I don't know, but I haven't had a ton of it, to be honest with y'all. I don't love the matchup against San Francisco, but the game script is there. The problem is I don't see a crazy amount of upside against an amazing defense like San Francisco. But can he get you 20? Yeah, I have him projected at around 19.8, almost 20. So when it comes point per dollar with his rushing ability and all that, I like Mariota as a decent GPP option. Matchup's tough, but playing from behind that extreme pass game script for Mariota and this one's going to be interesting. And you could going Mariota paired with Drake London is going to be like 0% owned. And if they end up connecting a couple times in garbage time, I mean, it could be big. Josh Allen. Now, this is the main man right here. I mean, with the options we have at running back this week, I've had, when it comes to building, the most important thing for me and that takes the most time throughout the week is finding my roster construction. Roster construction is a big, big, big deal. Finding out where you have the value, where you need to spend up, finding out how you want to balance things out. If you need to go spend up here, spend up there, cheap here, cheap there. It takes a good amount of time really evaluating that situation. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some of my favorite lineups. Probably my favorite lineup as of right now has Josh Allen in it. Just because of the floor he possesses, and that matchup against Kansas City is ridiculous. So I love Josh Allen. He is by far my favorite quarterback on the slate when it comes to overall projection. He is my guy that I want to get. If you want to get GPP, because Josh Allen's going to have that ownership. I think Geno probably comes in at lower ownership, and that's more of a GPP move, which is an interesting option. But Josh Allen against Kansas City, it's just such a sexy position here. It's scary. It is scary to fade that in single entry double ups. I'm not going to lie to you. In GPP, man, hey, the options are endless. You could do whatever. You could go Mariota paired with London. You can go Geno Smith paired with his pass catchers and fade Kenneth Walker, who's going to be high owned. All those interesting things that you can do with GPP. But in single entry cash games, I don't know, man. It's been one of those things where throughout the week I've kind of been like, all right, well, I'm feeling like my gut's just pushing me heavy to Josh Allen. So I love Josh Allen at 8-2. He's a fantastic option. In GPPs, you can go Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, most likely having Jonathan Taylor back is going to be a big deal for him. Having that force of a run game to open up the pass is going to be big for Matt Ryan here. Okay, so I really like this spot for Matt Ryan in a dome in Indianapolis. It's a fantastic spot for him. He's a solid GPP option as well, paired up with some of his pass catchers. I really love Matt Ryan. I love the Colts straight up money line. As you guys know, I talked about it on Twitter. At Greenlight DFS, we're gonna really start ramping up the betting side as well. Like when it comes to game bets and stuff, money line, spread, over under. We're really going to be ramping that side up as well and really be locking into that as well every week. So make sure you hit up Greenlight. That's going to come with all the packages for whatever sports. But I really love the Colts this week, and Matt Ryan and GPP at 5-3 is interesting. Now, here's an interesting spot right here as well. I never really trust Daniel Jones, but we have to acknowledge, just like Mariota, the rushing capabilities of him here. Okay? Now, Daniel Jones is in a matchup against Baltimore where Baltimore is going to have points up, and I think Giants are going to be playing from behind, and Daniel Jones is going to be expected to do a lot. This Baltimore secondary has been picked apart multiple times this season. Okay, so Daniel Jones is an interesting spot. Is he better to me point per dollar than Geno Smith, Mariota, Matt Ryan? No, but he's close. He's right there, as you can see. So he's an interesting spot. Tom Brady at 6-3. Now, the game script situation here with Tom Brady is not the most beautiful one. When it comes to the Tampa Bay side, my favorite pick would be Fournette because it's going to be an extremely run-heavy situation here in this game for Tampa Bay. I think they win easily. I think they're up early. I think they run a lot. Obviously, things can go differently, but I'm not going to have a ton of Tom Brady this week. Jimmy Garoppolo has an amazing matchup against Atlanta, but once again, another spot where you would expect a lot of Jeff Wilson. All right, Andy Dalton against Cincinnati, man. Oh, I hate even mentioning Andy Dalton, to be honest with you. I played Andy Dalton last week. Still almost cashed with a freaking zero, like an injury to Damian Harris. Still tears me up. But Andy Dalton, Um, the problem is Taysom Hill. Once they get down in the red zone, there's a high probability Taysom Hill runs that ball in. And Vulture's a touchdown from Andy Dalton, and that's going to be something you got to worry about this entire situation. Pay attention to the Jameis Winston situation. If Winston is back, obviously you're not going to want any pieces of this. I don't really want any piece of this anyway. So we're getting to the spot of guys where I'm not wanting many pieces of. Kenny Pickett's interesting GPP option. Pair him with Deontay Johnson or whatever because they're going to be playing from behind. Extremely pass-heavy game script. Kenny Pickett's only 5'2". Skylar Thompson, same situation. Pass heavy, going to be behind. Another solid spot for, yes, he's a rookie, and it is what it is, but in GPPs, he's an interesting option. Skylar Thompson obviously has some amazing weapons. Tyreek Hill, Waddle. I mean, he's got some weapons to be successful. You know what I mean? So we'll see. And he's at home in Miami. Game script should be playing from behind. I don't want Matthew Stafford against Carolina. That's just not something I want. And that's really it, man. Everything else, the game script doesn't really feel great to me, or I'm just not having a ton of interest in. Let's talk about the other side of the Buffalo game, obviously. I got to talk about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can definitely be played. To pivot off of a higher owned Josh Allen, going Mahomes paired up with some of his pass catch, pairing him with Kelsey, is a solid low owned position here. We know Buffalo's dealing with issues in the secondary. Micah Hyde's out. Poyer's banged up. So they've got some issues in that secondary that Mahomes could definitely pick apart. So I like this, and Kansas City is at home. So I like the lower owned pivot off of Josh Allen to Mahomes, but definitely, no matter what, if you go Allen, you go Mahomes. Well, if you go Allen, you don't necessarily have to pair him up with a pass catcher, but Mahomes, you have to. If you play Patrick Mahomes, pair him up with Kelsey or anybody. Pair him up with somebody. If you go Josh Allen, you don't have to pair him, but still, I recommend you pair him with a Stephon Diggs or something like that. All right, let's go to running back. Next position. Come on. Okay. Now, this week is a crazy one, like I said. As you can see, the top 3 point per dollar plays on the slate, and it's not particularly close. 2.8 from Joe Mixon, and then boom, 3.3, 3.3, and then 3.8. Eno Benjamin, Kenneth Walker, and Ramondre Stevenson are the guys. These are the main guys you want, especially in cash games. Now, getting off of any of these 3 guys, you will immediately be lower owned in GPP. So we're going to talk about the other options that you can pivot off these guys for. But these guys are the main guys, okay? I don't have to explain it too much, but I'll go through real quickly. Eno Benjamin, no James Conner. Kenneth Walker, no Rashad Penny. Ramondre Stevenson, no Damian Harris. I mean, all of these guys are getting such an amazing opportunity. It's a fantastic position for all 3. Play them, play them, play them. And that tells me in this slate that wide receivers where you're really going to be spending your money this week. Quarterback, wide receiver, even tight end, whatever. But running back, you've got some value, man. Eno Benjamin's the best one at 4.6. Kenneth Walker at 5.4. Stevenson, you're really having to pay for, but he's just an elite option as well. If you want to get different than that, obviously you've got Alvin Kamara, who was back from New Orleans. He's going to be an amazing wide receiver option for New Orleans straight up. Like on Draftkings, full point PPR, Alvin Kamara is a fantastic option. If you want to spend a little bit more over Stevenson and go Kamara, you can. It's the same kind of situation, though. Stevenson's a great pass catcher as well, and he's going to get heavy run. And on top of that, the run spot for Cleveland and New England here, the lineup advantage for the offensive line is fantastic. Like, New England's offensive line is really, really good. Okay, it's been really good. It's got a good advantage over Cleveland's defensive line. Same thing on the Cleveland side. Cleveland's got a good advantage over New England's defensive line. So the run game here is fantastic. And it's a solid spot for Stevenson, obviously. Raheem Mostert is 5'7", but once again, he just doesn't touch these guys. Christian McCaffrey is an interesting GPP option at 8.3 because Carolina's going to be playing heavily from behind. He got 11 targets last week, around there, something like that. So they finally are like, look, we got to throw Christian McCaffrey the ball. The Rams are going to be creating a shit ton of pressure against Carolina. This offensive line for Carolina has no chance. So Mayfield's going to be pressured like crazy here, and he's going to have to get the ball off very quickly. And who's that going to be good for? McCaffrey. Now, the Rams also know coming into this game that McCaffrey is the only guy Carolina has. So Rams might really lock in on him. But at the end of the day, just straight opportunity. Game script's going to be extremely pass heavy. They're going to have to do something, and it's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffrey. So a little tiny dump offs, whether he gets any yards or not, just off the usage. just off the target share, Christian McCaffrey's going to be great. Jonathan Taylor's very interesting to me as well. If you want to get different, it would be spending up at running back, like I said. Jonathan Taylor should be back. I'm expecting him to be going against Jacksonville. Fantastic spot here. They got to get this running game going for the Colts. This is their bread and butter. If their run game's struggling, they are struggling. They have to get the run going. And Jonathan Taylor is in a fantastic spot. The only thing you worry about is him coming back from injury. Normally, you don't love just playing guys directly back, but Jonathan Taylor's in a fantastic spot. If he's full go, he's a good to go. Saquon Barkley, obviously, is going to be heavy usage. Now, Leonard Fournette's the guy that I'm willing to fade, one of those three guys up above that I talked about. For because the game script's fantastic. He finally got a taste of the end zone last week. Leonard Fournette could really dominate again against Pittsburgh. It's going to be an extremely run heavy, at least that's what you expect, Tampa Bay to be up and extremely run heavy here. Not only that, but no matter how this script goes, Fournette's going to get involved in the pass game even. If by some crazy wild chance Pittsburgh gets up in this game, Tampa Bay's still going to Tom Brady's still going to dump the ball off to Fournette. So no matter what, Fournette's going to get involvement. I fully expect Tampa Bay to win pretty comfortably here. And against Pittsburgh, Fournette should just get a ton of opportunities, a ton of carries. The opportunities are there for him. So if you want to fade any of these three guys who are going to be higher owned, I would do it for Leonard Fournette. He's my main go-to guy. All right, a couple other guys I want to talk about here at running back position that really stick out to me that I love. Breece Hall had a huge game. He's getting involved in the pass game. He's going to need to be here. Okay, going against Green Bay, really, you're going to need Breece Hall to be heavily involved in the pass game here because it is going to be a heavy pass game script for the Jets. They're going to be behind early and often. Green Bay is a very good defense. Jets are going to be pressured a lot. He's going to have to get the ball off quick, and that's going to be beneficial to the running back. So if he gets heavy targets just off usage at 5'8", he could hit value. Najee Harris, I don't have a ton of interest, but they are going to be playing from behind. He should get a good amount of dump-offs. Problem is he's just not really getting utilized in the pass game as much as he should be. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not – we want to see Najee Harris getting, like, wide receiver 1 targets or even wide receiver 2 targets. But unfortunately, we're not really seeing that much here. So, yeah, it's one of those spots where it's a great spot if he was getting heavy targets in the pass game. But with him not getting a ton of targets in the pass game, it's going to be a struggle. He got 6 targets is his most targets he's got all year. 5 catches, the most catches he's had in the game. Okay, so they're just not utilizing Najee Harris properly. Even I know that, and I'm not a NFL coach. But yeah, Najee Harris is a struggle. 1 second, I got to take a sip of some coffee real quick. All right, Cam Akers. Cam Akers going against Carolina is a very interesting spot to me. Now, obviously, they split here with Damian. Why am I playing with Henderson? Why am I? Did I say the wrong name just now? Hold on, let me see. With Henderson, Darrell Henderson. I said Damian. With Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers do split. Now, the main guy that the Rams want to use is Cam Akers. All right, in a game where they should have this game in hand early, there's going to be a lot of running here. Now, either way you go, the other guy could vulture you here. Understand that if you go Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson could vulture a touchdown or 2. If you go Henderson, which you shouldn't be, Cam Akers could vulture. The only guy I'd play from the Rams running back squad is Cam Akers. Cam Akers is interesting to me because they might really want to get him going and get him like really ramped up here in a matchup where it should be extremely run heavy against Carolina. A.J. Dillon's interesting. Once again, same spot. Green Bay's up big, a lot of run. So A.J. Dillon could also have success. And that's about it, y'all. Same thing with Aaron Jones. He could have a lot of success too. Only problem with these two is they split. And I just hate split spots. I don't like using spots where there's a split going on. Wide receiver. Let's get through this, man. Well, I'm at 20 minutes already. All right. At wide receiver, we have Tyler Lockett at the top. Obviously, if you play Geno Smith, pair him with Lockett, they still refuse to raise Lockett over 6K. He probably will be after this week. Him and Metcalf are solid pairing with Geno. You're just missing the Kenneth Walker value if you do that. Chris Olave with no Michael Thomas is a solid option. He did leave with a concussion. Let me check in on how Olave is. He got nailed, literally got knocked out. Let me make sure he's even good to go. Officially, he's been limited with a concussion, but at least he's practicing a little bit. I think he should be all right. We'll see. Right now, there's no definitive information, but he is in a solid position here at 5'5". Rondale Moore, I really, really like. He's been the value wide receiver I've leaned on throughout my builds this week. I do like Rondale Moore a lot. I think he's a solid option in what should be a very exciting game. For sure. So I really like this spot for him. Now, one spot that I haven't touched on that I need to touch on ASAP. Rondale Moore, I love. I love Kyler Murray as well. I missed talking about Kyler Murray before. Now, having Eno Benjamin and having Kyler Murray kind of doesn't correlate fantastic, but Eno Benjamin's a good pass catching back, so he's going to get utilized in the little dump offs and stuff like that. Um, but Seattle's defense has been so bad. They've given up so many points that a very interesting strategy this week would be stacking up, maybe fading Eno or something, and stacking up Kyler with his pass catchers, with Marquise Brown, Rondale Moore, and playing that side of it because no ownership will be on that side. We talked about Drake London. Drake London playing from behind. It's an extremely positive game script for Drake London. It's a tough matchup, but the game script's there for him. Alec Pierce, man, Matt Ryan's been struggling, so it's not a fantastic position here. He's getting the targets and he's been doing fairly well. So at 4-3, you could do worse. But with Jonathan Taylor back, especially if Jonathan Taylor's a full go and he's going to get his full run in, I think you just see a lot more run here, and you're not going to see a ton of Pierce. But Pierce and Zay Jones and Rondale Moore are the cheap receivers that I like this week. Um, DJ Moore, once again, as you can see, point per dollar, he's up here. And why? Because all Carolina's going to do here is throw. Okay? So, with that being said, the matchup's not good against the Rams, but all they're going to do is throw. No matter what, you know Cooper Kupp's going to be projected high for me because he's just the best receiver in the entire league. He gets the most targets out of anyone in the entire league. It's not a Cooper Kupp game here. Cooper Kupp could be a big reason why the Rams get up big. Kupp could get 2 touchdowns here early, for sure. Yes, 100%. But the logical way to look at this is that the Rams are going to be up early and not utilize the pass as much. So if Kupp just gets 1 touchdown, it might not end up being enough at 9-7. Stephon Diggs is the priority guy that I love if I'm going Josh Allen. I like pairing Josh Allen with Stephon. Stephon Diggs could have a huge game here, and I honestly do believe he does. He's a fantastic bet when it comes to spending up. Chris Godwin is a great option. He is a guy that gets looked at heavily by Tom Brady. Problem is the game script doesn't equal out there. None of these guys really game script wise stick out to me. Deontay Johnson at 5'7" for Pittsburgh, playing from behind. A lot of pass heavy here for Pittsburgh. Deontay Johnson's interesting at 5'7". Isaiah McKenzie, you can as a value. The Giants, Richie James Jr., we know they're dealing with a lot of issues on the Giants. He is a solid option, but that's about it, y'all, man. You got Lockett at the top, who's a fantastic option. Rondale Moore, Zay Jones, Alec Pierce's value options. My favorite spend ups, Cooper Kupp, obviously. Stephon Diggs, the main way to go. Metcalf is solid option. Drake London playing from behind game script. So that's really the core of wide receivers as well. Let's see. So I have Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Jefferson, Metcalf, Lockett as the top projected guys. So Lockett is my favorite point per dollar. And then when it comes to spend ups, and if you pair in game script as well, Stephon Diggs my favorite spend up. Okay, he is my favorite spend up when you talk game script and potential points. Stephon Diggs, fantastic. DK Metcalf in what should be a competitive game against Arizona. This should be a back and forth matchup. I like DK Metcalf. Justin Jefferson against Miami. The game script might not be there to really be great for Jefferson, and he's 8-9. So that kind of takes down Kupp and Jefferson for me. But if you land on one of these prices for these guys, you can't go wrong. If you land on 9-7 and you're like, oh, my only option is Kupp, but the game script's not great. Screw it, dude. Play it. Okay, he's Cooper Kupp. Okay, just at the end of the day, you play those guys if you have the money. But I'm not prioritizing it at 9-7 in what should be an easy win for the Rams up early. All right, tight end. Now, when it comes to the tight end position, once again, I love Tyler Higbee. I love him every week. Kyle Pitts playing from behind. He hasn't been utilized enough in this offense. Kyle Pitts is a fantastic option playing from behind. I mean, they're going to be throwing a ton, so the spot's good. He just hasn't really shown up yet. Zach Ertz in what should be a good game with Arizona and Seattle is an option at 4-9. I prefer Higbee at 4-6. He's my favorite. When it comes to spend ups, Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. are the two guys that you want to spend up for. I recommend Travis Kelsey at 7-8. He's the main spend up tight end. If you're not spending up for a stud tight end like that, which I don't see much of a reason for it, unless you have Mahomes and you're going to pair him with Kelsey. Outside of that, I don't see a reason for it. Tyler Higbee, okay. Game script's not great. Zach Ertz, game script's solid. It's a competitive matchup. Kyle Pitts playing from behind should get a lot of them. So it's a solid position here for those guys. Outside of that, um, there's not much else. I mean, tight end's another one of those spots. Let's sort point per salary real quick. Tyler Higbee's at the top. Fairmuth. Okay, Fairmuth is interesting. Playing from behind, you're probably going to see a lot of this rookie throwing, dumping down to his tight end. I could see a lot of Fairmuth. I could see a lot of Pat at 3-8. He's an interesting option for sure. I love the game script spot for him, and he projects out well point per salary. He's only under Higbee. Now, the reason Higbee is so high is because I could see Higbee being another, just like Cup, I could see Higbee being a reason why the Rams are up to begin with. Higbee lines up at the slot. They move Higbee all around to the outside, whatever. They utilize him a ton as a receiver, so I really like him. He's a fantastic option this week. Game script's not fantastic for him, but at a position where normally it sucks, he's a solid position. All right. Once again, Zach Ertz is in a great game. I love the Arizona-Seattle game, Buffalo-Kansas City games. Those are the two games I really want exposure to wherever I can. Um, Pat Fairmuth playing from behind, amazing game script for him. Kyle Pitts playing from behind the whole game, amazing script for him. So those are the spots I would go for tight end. When it comes to defense, I mean, I don't care. Um, Whatever you land on, you know what I mean? Now, when it comes to spend ups, the Packers are number one. Green Bay is at home going against a bad Jets offensive line. They're going to cause some troubles here. Jets have done solid this year at times, but the Packers are really going to get to them early and often. The Rams defense is amazing. Like, you will not go wrong going Packers, going Rams, going Buccaneers at 3-9, 49ers even at 3-7. But that game's at least in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So at least Packers and Rams are my two spend up defenses because they're at home and they're in beautiful positions. So these are my two defenses. If I can get one of these twos, I'm down to. I think either one of these could go 20 plus today. I mean Sunday. Packers or Rams both. Each of those could go over 20 points easily and be a stud play in general at 4K. So they're interesting for sure. And with the running back value, we might have places we need to just spend up for no reason. And this might be it. So Packers or Rams are my go-to defenses. Buccaneers and 49ers, you can. The only down part with them is they are on the road, but they're both in fantastic spots. And in situations where they should be up and the other offense should, turn the ball over. That's the same situation for here, though, too. And they're at home. So, spend up for these guys or go down to probably the Saints at home at 2-8. They're interesting to me. They're one of the cheaper defenses that are at home and give you that home cheap defense. So I would either go Saints. As of right now, this is how I'm feeling. I'd go the Saints defense spending down, or I'm spending up for the Packers or the Rams. Plain and simple. Now let's get this money, y'all. Greenlightdfs.com. Join the squad. Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully I was able to really break this slate down well for y'all. Hopefully we smash once again. Let's have a fantastic week. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Drop that like down below. Make sure you comment and enter your name into that giveaway. Subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Guess what? NBA begins on Tuesday. My God, it's coming up. The early bird NBA season-long special is available now at Greenlight. Grab that early. Let's have another fantastic NBA season, man. And I'm out. Peace, y'all.